agenda then, first item is to receive for interruption. Not believe there were any. No? And agenda item 2 is variation order of business, and there is an addendum to agenda item 9A. Copies have been circulated around the chamber. Agenda item 3, declaration of interest. Have we received any form?
There is one.
Thank you.
Councillor John Cave in relation to item 10B. There is a connection with a relative, so he will be leaving the consideration of that.
We can't hear at the back, sorry.
Sorry, yeah, there is one declaration from a councillor, Councillor John Cave, which he has registered, and it's to do with item 10B on the cabinet page. And he will be leaving the meeting when that item comes out.
Thank you. Agenda item 4 is cabinet questions time. Have you got any questions at all? Have you received anything? Take one. None of that.
Can we speak? Can we speak now so you can get rid of us and get on with what you should be doing? Or do we have to wait?
The last thing I want you to do is to get rid of you, I can assure you. I'm quite happy for one of you to address the meeting, if that's okay with yourself.
I think there's more than one of us want to address the meeting though, Mr. Dennis Williams. You know, we don't seem to be able to get any answers from Apple Valley. We just get fobbed off, we get officers who refuse point blank to meet with us. You know, and to be honest, you know, people are getting ill in some coats. The developer is just doing whatever he wants on the site. They're taking soil off the site, which they're not supposed to be doing. There's 20 or 30 lorries going off of the estate every day. They're going the wrong way off of site. They've nearly knocked someone down, which has become a police matter yesterday. We wonder about the legality of this application being passed with the issues with the former chair of the planning board. You know, these are all questions that we have that we don't seem to be able to get answers to.
Also, can I just say, Chris, that I had a meeting with you and John McCabe 3-4 weeks ago. I asked for the state of play with Stanley Street as regards the reserved matters. Has it been signed off? Hasn't it been signed off? Still not had a reply, not even had the courtesy to get back to me. So on the 3rd of May, when Jane Orton instructed officers to, we think, sign Stanley Street off, the day before the local elections, somebody was in a rush there, then has it been signed off? We've received notification from Rowena Bailey today that the contamination issues have not been complied with as yet. So there was, how can it be signed off? You can't half sign it off.
If there's still site investigations to take place on site, how can this have been forced through the planning process? And the amount of works that are taking place on that site, it's like Fraggle Rock on there. There's just trucks up and down. There's 70 men working on it. There's trucks going off the site. But we don't even know if it's passed, and they've not even done all the science yet. Nobody's addressing the grouting up that Miller Homes have done. Miller Homes spent 9 weeks, 5 days a week, 8 hours a day with 2 drilling rigs pumping thousands of tons of concrete into the mine workings, dispersing contamination, which has affected local residents. We're having rainfall events now. This is going to happen again. And what none of your people seem to understand is that the contamination that's coming out of that landfill now isn't the contamination that's going to be coming out of it in 5 years' time or 10 years' time. It's a toxic soup. You have no idea what's even in it. Who in their right mind passes 750 houses within 250 metres of a landfill that they know nothing about? We hired an expert. He is absolutely top of his game, and not one of the people or Rowena Bailey will face any scrutiny from him. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Are you waiting for somebody to die? Quite honestly.
You know, then we have the issue with the former chair of the planning committee. I know that's a police investigation now. Yeah, I know it's
You're
a
very
police
quick to come
investigation.
back on that though. You've not come back on anything we've already said. Does anyone want to say anything about what's just happened? We'll have our say over time. It's a conversation. It should hopefully be a conversation, not just us shouting at you and you just looking at each other blankly, waiting for someone to maybe say something. Anyone want to pipe up? Thank you.
I I don't want to pipe up, but I do want to speak if that's okay.
That's absolutely fine.
I don't know anything about the incident that you're talking about. So
Which
all I was
one,
gonna,
sorry, which incident?
the situation. So all I was going to say.
Perfect.
Well, if I listen to you, then I think you need to listen to me.
No, but yeah, but I can sorry.
Because I'm a Belton councillor, so all I was going to ask you to do was tell us for the rest of the room which situation we're talking about.
Right, okay, so what situation do you want to know about? The Jane Austen situation?
No,
Okay, so,
no, I just want to know where we're talking about,
Right.
what's happening. You've gone straight into what you're saying, and I get
I
that.
thought you'd have known, to be honest. It's been a massive thing for 10 years.
I'm sure you would, but I'm just trying to be honest with you.
Right, okay.
Why don't you know?
Why don't I know?
How long have you been here?
I've been in this position a month.
Right,
Okay,
so we are...
Is this a character assassination or
No,
can I
no,
get
no.
answers to the question?
They're just questions.
I'm just asking you a question.
I'll fill you. Okay.
Thank you.
So, historically, Somercotes is littered with hazardous landfills. There are 5. There is LSO1, which is the main hazardous site, okay? There is an extension cell to LSO1, which is located on the rugby club. There is an inert landfill, which is also licensed, which is the rugby club. Strangely, when groundworks were done on the rugby club, contamination that shouldn't be there was found on it. So it was either illegally tipped or it was never an inert landfill, okay? We have one landfill called LOM, which was in operation prior to licensing. So a lot of these were in operation 30, 40 years before licensing came in. So you've got no idea what went in them. But there is a list of people who were legally allowed to tip there, the quantities they were allowed to tip on a daily basis. So this area was supposed to be subject to an open cast coal mining proposal in the late 1980s. The Secretary of State for the Environment, Nicholas Ridley, stepped in and stopped the whole of the Somercotes area being included at a cost of 168,000 million tonnes of good quality coal. So the only areas that they did were the other side of the B600 towards Ironville, which was Area B, and the other side of the railway line up to Selson, which was Area C. They were the smaller sites for fear of disturbing what was in those landfills. This council, their only state of knowledge about the groundwater flow, etc., comes from a groundwater report produced for the open cast. So the fear was that when they were excavating Area C, that contamination from Area A and where the landfills are would infiltrate through the water into where they were working and it would be dangerous. So they did a really, really in-depth groundwater study that said that it would take 66 days for contamination to get to where they were working, okay? This council have used that as their only basis of knowledge, and they have said that groundwater flows harmlessly away to the east. They used it in the Nether Farm Judicial Review. They've used it in every application. That's simply not the case. So the scientific officer said that what happened is that the landfill LSO1, which is towards Stanley Street and towards Nether Farm, that it's okay because the contamination comes off the top and it goes down and it's caught by a stream at the bottom and it passes harmlessly away to Pinkston. Our expert, Mr. Fryer, said, no, that's stupid. It's not running off the top, it's coming through the shallow mine workings, and then it's a slightly up gradient. So she even said it can't possibly go uphill, and it can't go 93 metres to the nearest quarter Nether Farm. What actually happened, exactly as our expert said, that contamination was found 300 metres from source. The whole of the area is contaminated, will continue to become contaminated by all of the rest of the chemicals that are still to come out. You know, and it's just lunacy. There's nobody seems to understand what they're doing. So the actions of granting it up by Miller Homes have made people ill. You know, we've had the Coal Authority go in and do some gas monitoring in the house. Now they only tested for carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide. This is semi-volatile organic compounds in vapours that are coming through the floors, subfloors of people's homes. New homes may have these membranes underneath them to protect them. They don't protect people while they're in the gardens, and they certainly don't protect existing residents who live in 100-year plus old houses. My house hasn't even got foundations. So that is our argument, and this has been a 10-year fight trying to get somebody to have an audience with us. You know, we've got an expert, it's the top of his game. You know, and this is where we are. And now this has passed, it's all very hasty, we don't even know if it's passed. The person who passed it, we don't know whether she should have passed it. You know, this is just getting beyond a joke, it really is.
And just for the record, the poisons that we're talking about, for you people that probably don't know, 1968 there was an explosion at the Colite factory at Bolsover. Nobody knew, but they were producing Agent Orange for the military, which Agent Orange is a very dangerous defoliant. Now, from that explosion, the debris, the buildings were bulldozed and they were concealed in these landfills, as well as Morton Open Cast. So the reason why Nicholas Ridley stepped in was the fear of disturbing this dioxin contaminated waste. Now, if you look at Vietnam now, and you look at the effects, even to this day, of Agent Orange, it is horrific. Now, what council in the right mind would want to pass developments adjacent to these landfill sites? It's absolute madness. Now, I understand that not all you guys will know the ins and outs of it. I mean, we've lived it. You know, it takes some understanding, it takes some getting on board. But officers will not meet with us. You've got officers, unelected officers, running the show at this council, and you've got borough councillors that are under investigation. You know, I mean, really, what we want to know is on that issue, and it's all right saying, well, we're not talking about it's a police issue. Yes, it is a police issue, but you know, we want clarification on if that person has been instrumental in decisions when, regardless of the police investigation, that declarations should have been made in the Register of Interests. They weren't. So should that person have been in those meetings, should that person have made decisions on those?
Can I make a point? We cannot discuss issues that are for the police to consider and with the standard system to consider. It's wholly inappropriate to mention that. So,
Yeah.
so what I'd ask
you know,
you, please don't mention it.
Mr. Fernandez, I understand what you're saying. You know, all I'm saying is that we cannot. Can you understand that we cannot get no answers, full stop, right across the board? You know, nobody wants to listen. You know, we have asked. Well, since you guys took over, you know, I've been in a meeting. Myself and Mr. Harris came into a meeting and asked you for clarification. No reply. You know, I mean, you are elected by us. You know.
Your indulgence. Can I just make a couple of points of clarification, if I may? The first point is actually that the Borough Council initially turned down the planning application for that site, and it was passed by the planning inspectorate.
Yeah.
Now, the contamination is a planning condition, it's not in the Reserve Matters application, so those are conditions that were placed on by the planning inspector. So the Reserve Matters dealt with issues such as landscaping, drainage, highways, those sorts of issues. So they are technical matters around the actual design of the estate, not to do with the contamination. That's a planning condition, which is a slightly separate process. So they're not part of the Reserve Matters in any way, shape or form.
Okay. Can I ask them why if this further works to be done on this side, is work going on at the rate that it is on site? I mean, I actually know someone who's going to work on this site next week, and they're actually installing all the drainage next week. You know, I mean, they're taking thousands of tons of soil off of the side, and they're not supposed to be taking anything. Who polices these things? Who polices it? Because it feels like it's passed, and then you all go, oh, well, it's done with now. That's out of our hands.
I spoke to the site manager. He didn't know anything about
They don't even know about toxins.
So,
they don't even know there's a landfill there.
How
The
on
people
earth-
working on site.
How on earth is the site manager or Miller Homes going to flag up any concerns about contamination if they don't even
If they
know
don't know they're
about
looking
it?
for it.
Chair, again, with your indulgence, the work that they're able to do at the moment is limited to the grouting and the investigations that they're already doing. They shouldn't be going beyond that. If they go into construction at the current time, then there will be.
But don't you think that the grouting for that length of time, for those many days in that many locations, is ever so slightly extreme, because we do and our expert does?
Well, I
But who
can't
polices
get into
that?
that detail in this meeting.
Who would police that then? If someone suspects that more work is being done, are the checks? If it's one of the conditions that you can only go that far, is there someone in your council checking that then?
Again, Chair, with your indulgence, but we have a planning enforcement team that can go out and take action if they feel that they're not beyond the
okay.
Are they acting, or do they act upon information?
Can they go out tomorrow then and have a check if soil's going off the site, because it's supposed to be not removed from sites at all?
I can certainly ask for the planning enforcement to pay a visit.
Is there a a certain amount of time that they will go in, or is it only when an issue is raised?
Generally, it's reactive.
Okay, so it's reactive. Okay. Based on the fact that we believe more to be going on than should be, is there a potential opportunity for there to be some spot checks put in place?
That can be done.
Can I just ask, you just said, I can ask. Who's in authority not to ask, to tell them?
Yeah.
Who's going to tell them to go out? Not ask. Who's running the job, them or you?
I'll ask you this, that's how we work. I will ask them and they will do it.
You will ask. Okay.
Yeah.
So, just for clarification then, Mr. Gladwin, are you saying that Stanley Street development hasn't got full planning permission?
It's the reserve matters application has been passed, as you said, but some of the planning conditions haven't been passed.
So effectively, it's been passed?
The application was passed by the planning inspectorate.
Yes, I understand
So the
that.
development was established by the planning inspectorate. So then,
In section 9 of those reserve matters, it says that if any concerns of contamination or anybody getting ill, etc., or if there is any concern, then work should stop immediately.
as you alluded to yourself, Maureen Bailey's already said to you, you've already emailed up to Maureen Bailey yourself, so she's given you the current position.
But people have been getting ill.
Is
Work
she-
should have stopped.
Is she speaking to the UKHSA? Because there seems to have been a bit of a problem with communication with those as well.
Yeah, with your indulgence, we have been in contact with the UKHSA.
Simon Ferris.
And we continue to be with Dr. Ben.
Yeah, I've had an email. Sorry, he's emailed me today. Now, the official line coming out from the council is there's only been one case put forward. Now, I have got proof on my phone, direct from 2 different doctors at UKHSA, denying that fact and looking into at least 12 different cases. So where you're getting your information from, I don't know, because I have got that proof and I have sent you proof, and I got the reply back from yourself basically saying, I suggest you go and speak to somebody else.
Yeah, again, with your indulgence, that's not strictly speaking true what I said. The email.
Excuse me, I've got the emails on my phone, I can bring them up.
Indeed, what I've said is that if you believe that the UKHSA, the information that we receive from the UKHSA is incorrect, then I suggest that you take that up with them.
I have taken it. I have taken it
So
up
why
with
is
them.
it our responsibility to do that as
Yeah.
just the general public? You are supposed to be keeping to
No, you're missing the point. What I'm saying is, I mean, Mr. Tomlinson was saying that the information that we released was incorrect, and the information
That you received?
the information we released was incorrect. Now we clarified that with the UKHSA, and they said that the information was still correct in that they had one GP referral at that point.
Right, okay. You see, it's not just GPs and it's not just doctors who need to deal with this. It's people. The UKHSA have experts, much the same as our expert Stephen Fryer. They have geo-environmental consultants, who would be looking at what's in the landfill and what's happening by the grouting up, and they do a full analysis.
How
of-
many
of
people
what's
have
happening.
to be referred for you to stop works? Obviously, I know as a part of the condition, if people start getting poorly, then works can stop. One is clearly not enough. One person being ill, not enough to stop it. What is the critical mass of people that need to be ill for you to stop works?
It's the UKHSA. It's for the UKHSA to identify whether there's a link. The Borough Council is not qualified to identify whether there's a likely link between the site and the works going on and anyone falling ill. You've got to appreciate we do not have experts on to do that. So we would have to be informed by the UKHSA that it's an issue that of concern to them.
Can I just?
Expert